Shalom. If you've spent any amount of time in Jewish education or in Jewish institutional spaces, you're very likely familiar with the oft-quoted verse from the Torah, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, which means you should love your neighbor as yourself. And in the Talmud, the question comes up, who exactly is this neighbor? And our rabbis teach that it's our co-religionists, it's other Jews, which sometimes doesn't feel very satisfying when we look at the world and see so many neighbors. So thankfully, the Torah has another prescription to us, which is Ve'ahavtem et hager, and you should love the stranger. And this is more inclusive, because in Hebrew, in biblical Hebrew, ger has a number of potential meanings. Ger can refer to people who live in your midst, and it also can refer to Jews by choice. So there's a whole range of potential gerim, strangers, that we are commanded to love. And there's a whole legal category of people who dwell within biblical Israel who are deserving of similar rights to those in our people. And like in the United States, in Israel as well, there are different rights and entitlements accorded to citizens versus non-citizens, different expectations, responsibilities. But our Torah helps complicate this seemingly binary notion by, again, according to our strangers certain rights, including the right to be loved, including the right to Sabbath, including so many other basic important rights. And this week in Israel, we witnessed something miraculous when the Israeli Supreme Court ruled to recognize conversions performed by conservative and reform rabbis within the state of Israel, meaning that those they convert will not only be considered Jewish, but will be eligible for full citizenship. This is an incredible moment, especially in light of the nearly 50 years of colleagues of ours in the reform and the conservative movement performing these conversions without formal acknowledgement from the state of Israel. This is an incredible moment for pluralism in our Jewish world, and a moment we should celebrate. This ruling marks an incredible turning point in Jewish history because we're moving from seeing the stranger as a ger, as a neighbor, to a peer. And what better way to bring in our HIAS Refugee Shabbat, this coming Shabbat, at Bethel, than with this incredible news. This coming Shabbat, we're so privileged and blessed and honored to be welcoming 3 extraordinary refugees who will be sharing with us about their own life journey and the struggles that they had to endure fleeing danger and persecution and seeking refuge in other countries. And I hope you can join us. The talks will all be during the sermon slot, so around 11 o'clock Eastern time. And please feel free to spread the word and tell friends. And finally, I want to just share that this week is Parashat Ki Tisa, which begins with the famous giving, the mandatory giving of the half shekel, the universal half shekel. And there's a tradition in the Hebrew month of Adar to be generous in our giving. And so in that spirit, I would encourage you to think carefully about how you might help support the gerim, the strangers, the peers, the neighbors in our time who are most in need of our help. I look forward to seeing you this Shabbat, and I want to wish everybody a restorative, happy, and healthy Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.